Okay, people, today we're going to take a quick look at the Frazetta Girls Frazetta Icon Collectibles Fire and Ice Tigra. No, I still haven't watched Fire and Ice. It's still on the list, a very, very long list, but I'll be damned if I do not love Frazetta-type action figures. And that's exactly what this is, an action figure based on the art of Frazetta. I mean, I have the badass Darkwolf. Why wouldn't I want the badass Tigra? Looking at the package, once again, some Frazetta artwork. I mean, you can't go wrong here at all. On the side, there's a pretty promotional shot of Tigra. On the back, same thing with a little background, some rundown, a scan me, and then some logos. Dun, 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 dun. On the top, same thing. On bottom, barcode, legalese, more logos, everybody involved in the making of this action figure. Then, like I showed, there's a velcroed flap with another promotional shot, and then a quote from Frank Frazetta. You can see the action figure in a window. Let's get this open, see what's going on here. There is an insert that you can pull out and use as a background for the figure if you're taking photographs, or put it on the shelf if you have a big display, or file it away for memories of the time you opened up a Fire and Ice Tigra action figure. Oh man, what hits me first are the overlay pieces, which isn't really what you think of when you think of a Frazetta girl. But man, I love the translucency there and the pastel purplish color of it. Same thing down here, but we're looking at the action figure first. So we are going to remove those. I think this is just on an elastic band, and this is a solid piece around. We'll come back to this during the accessory part and give that a good look over. Removing that gives us a better look at the articulation and the base figure underneath, and there is that pastel-y purple color again. It's a very nice splash of color on what is essentially just skin tone and hair. But there is some subtle color variations to that skin tone. You get up close, you can see the pinkish wash or airbrush down in the recesses of the musculature, or in the shadow parts where the light doesn't hit as much as the high points. It's the same on the torso. But since we're this close, you can see it. You get a little ways back and it all blends together. It gives it a very natural feel. Up through the center and then underneath the hair and the head on the elbow, and then up under here where it would be shadowed, where it would be shaded, going down the center and then down under here. That just accentuates the sculpt nicely, which, speaking of that, it is definitely Frazetta styled. It has those proportions that come to mind when you think of a Frazetta painting. It's not just skin tones and the purplish bikini, there's also the black straps that go across and then up and over, and then some gold ornamental sculpt, just to break it up a little bit. I mean, it's even around back, these gold studs painted in. I love stuff like that. Then there's also the head and the hair. Now, one thing that most female action figures suffer from is the hair hindering head movement, and it looks like that's going to be the same thing here. It just can't be helped because it's long hair. It's plastic. It doesn't get out of the way. Until we develop that technology where real hair looks good at this scale, then this is what we deal with. But sculpted hair does look good. It hangs down over the shoulder here. It has kind of a flyaway, and then the rest hangs down the back. Some bangs action going on, and then there's the face paints, which was one of the things I was most interested in. There was no intricate paint work to Darkwolf. Now, okay, yeah, there's the yellow eyes, there's the skin tone, there's the lips, there's some dry brushing to the fur. It's nice paint work, but it wasn't eyes and lips and eyebrows. So this is our first glimpse at what we can expect from the rest of the line, because they've also shown Conan and the Norseman. And while it's not printed, it's not photoreal, as Hasbro would say. It's more of a traditional paint job. I really like this. The green eyes peer out, the eyelashes, the eyebrows, the lips, and again, that slight blush to the skin there. Have gold earrings that match up with the bikini straps, and yeah, this totally works. In fact, I would say that calls back to the painting type aspect of Frazetta. It kind of works into that style, and that's really all I have to say about a mostly naked action figure. Going over articulation, like I mentioned, the hair does get in the way of the, well, okay, that is supposed to do that. Calm down. You pull the head, there's a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck, so not a lot of up at all, but can look down a bit. Little tilt. Got to work around the hair to look left and right. The shoulder setup is like Darkwolf, if you have that figure. It is a pin coming out to a hinge and swivel, and then the sculpt of the arm is a cap over that. Can get it to rotate all the way around. It does hinge up to about right there. And then the pin from the shoulder joint goes down into the arm, so there is some swivel there, nicely hidden. You're not going to be able to twist it around 360. It goes about that far. Pretty much what a human turns at that point. Because you get down to the elbow, it is a hinge and a swivel, and that's where our swivel happens. Unfortunately, it doesn't really go up past 90. Like the shoulder, I'm thinking they didn't want to break up the sculpt a lot, but a cut further down would have helped a bit there. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge in and out. Dumbbell joint mid-torso, nicely hidden where it always should be when it comes to a female figure, but not a lot of crunch. Again, I can only guess that they wanted to preserve the sculpt as much as possible. Because the arc back isn't bad at all, and then tilt goes way further than I expected, and then some rotation. Ball coming out to the hip, kicks up to about right there, and then back and out. Like the shoulder, there is an assembly in there to give it some rotation. Hinge and swivel at the knee comes up to about 90 and then rotates. Hinge at the ankle goes way back, forward, and front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories in the package, she has relaxed hands. Should just pop out, no problem. And she has 2 grip hands and 2 splayed out hands, which really shows off that pink overspray again. Oh, and in case I miss it, the weapon wielding hand does have an up and down hinge. You need the weapon wielding hand for weapons. Here is a spear with a very dark wash to the handle, but you can see the sculpt. There's a little wrap there and there, and then the rest has kind of a wood look to it. And then, of course, the spear head has an awesome metallic sheen to it. Goes in the hand nice and tight, but I will point out that the spear does have some flex to it, I guess to keep it from snapping in case you get rowdy. The dagger also has a little flex to it. It's sculpted to have some wear and tear, and then the grip has that same brown wash with a lighter brown here and there. Then there's this stick, which really brings in the wood feel. There's some bark and twig, and it's been shaved down to a point on one end. There's no need to fight. Look into my eyes. Like I accidentally showed a minute ago, the hairpiece is removable, and now that I look, it's kind of a ball joint that pops on there. But it's removable for a reason. There is an alternate hairpiece. It's a little tighter to put on. It's better to kind of angle it up in there and then push it down. The reason it's harder is because this hair whips around the neck and down in front of the face, so it's a smaller opening. There's also head options. In the package, there's the neutral look. Then there's either a choice of angry or happy. These are tough to pop on, so I'm gonna heat this up, see what happens. Okay, yeah. That makes it easier to pop on. Hot plastic. But like we saw at the first, there's also this sheer plastic shawl or cover top winter wear type thing in the Frazetta universe. And then this bottom piece is on an elastic band. When I first got it out of the package, I thought, wait, is that threaded into the legs or something? But no, you just get it up over the curves. In fact, you could leave it like that and it goes straight across here and then down into the socket to kind of hide the band and work into the bikini bottom. And it may be blasphemy when we're talking Frazetta, but I like this look better. It adds even more color to the figure and makes it more unique from other female figures on the shelf or in the display or in the collection. That is eye-catching. I love that translucent purple material that is very soft, so it's not going to get in the way of articulation. Well, it kind of traffic cones down over the arms, but the rest, no problem at all. And then this hangs out of the way. That's going to move no matter what. It adds a little elegance to the savageness. But the last accessory is this beautifully sculpted panther. I have to fight the urge to say panther at this point. This is mostly a plastic slug. The head does have some rotation, and then the tail is on a ball joint that can wag back and forth, go up and down a little bit. And does it twist? Yeah. This was probably a budget decision. In order to include this, it had to be a statue. You start adding articulation, that adds to cost. You can see the muscles gleaming under the first sculpt. Well, okay, the muscles are sculpted into the first sculpt. It's all plastic, but you know what I mean. It looks very natural. And I love that since the panther is in stalking mode, the eyes are painted to be looking up a bit. Like if you put it here, he's keeping an eye on Tigra, or looking at something just kind of up here. So it's hunched down, but still a bit neutral looking. Couldn't get the head off here for the swappability, so I went and heated it up and realized that there's also a little up and down here too. I'm gonna guess there's a ball joint because behind the camera strength, pop that off. Yeah, there's a ball joint. But that's so you can pop. Also having to heat the other one just to get it to pop on there easier. My heat gun's across the room now, and I don't have a plug in closer. It's all used by camera equipment. So I'm just talking to you way over here. How's it going? Hope you're having a good day. I'm just playing with toys. Then there's this alternate head that is way more fierce. It has an angry look. There's no pupils. It's just straight yellow peering out at you from the darkness. This one seems to have a little bit more up and down movement, but even better, there is an opening jaw for some teeth action. Tigra stands at about 6 1/8 inches tall, which works perfectly with the Frazetta Icon Collectibles Dark Wolf. As it should, they're from the same source. Then bring the Panther in to add to the scene even more. That measures about 2.5 to its highest point, and then 6 3/4 from the tip of the nose to the tail. Here's Tigra with the Marvel Legends Kazar and the Loose Collector Red Sonja, the Hasbro Dungeons and Dragons Golden Archive Holga, and the Mezco 1/12 Collective Conan. And then of course here's this comparison of the Panther to the Hasbro Dungeons and Dragons Guinevere. Little size difference, lots of articulation difference. So at the end of the day, just an eye-catching set. The Frazetta Icon Collectibles has its own style. One, it's Frazetta, so if you're into that, boom. Here it is, in plastic form. But there's definitely some nuances to the action figure aspect, like the shoulders, the articulation in places. That's essentially going to be signature for this line. Even if you didn't know the source material, you could go, oh, it has those shoulder caps that is unmistakably Frazetta Icon Collectibles. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's the same as Loose Collector moving the swivel on the leg up or down to find the roundest part of the leg. That's just a decision made during the design process, and it looks like they will be continuing that on. Again, I get wanting to hide articulation, but there's also a fine line between somebody going, that's enough, or that's not enough. Still a very nice action figure. Because I love this purple, I absolutely love this piece and this piece. And that's enough for me to stare at it on a shelf. But you do you.